Good morning, friends. I'm Teddy Hicks, and I'm reading you an affirmation from my book, My Life Gets Better Every Day. Today is July 31st, last day of July. That's pretty exciting. This is always the time of summer when it feels like you're tipping over toward fall, and the crickets sound different outside. That's what I always notice, and it reminds me of like getting up early to go to school when in September when school started. So I'm quite excited about cooler weather. I'm sure you are too. Today's affirmation is, I can handle anything. Which of your problems persist because you doubt your ability to fix them? What could you accomplish if you didn't do that anymore? It's pretty exciting to imagine. Love, Teddy. Simple, straightforward, you really can handle anything. And it reminds me of that thing I heard about with I don't know, it's like a parable of, you put an ant on a piece of paper and you draw a circle around it with the pen. And the ant just thinks it can't get out of that circle, and it just keeps walking and walking and walking around. But then if once it breaches that, line and realizes it can get out of the circle, then you can never do it again, right? Then you can never put the ant back in the circle because it knows that it can get out of it. And it just reminds me of how limiting our thoughts really are for ourselves, right? Like, you just imagine yourself as a certain type of person living in a certain way. These are the things that are available to you because that's what you've seen. That's what you've grown up with. That's, those are the messages you got throughout your life. But when you can break out of that circle, right? Like, that's your circle. Those are the things that keep you kind of inhibited where you are and with the problems that you have, right? And sometimes it feels like those problems are insurmountable or just not something that you can fix. But when you can jump out of that circle and go, you know what, I can do anything, like really consider all of the possibilities, it's very liberating, and you realize you have a lot more control and a lot more flexibility over how you handle things in your life than you had previously thought, And a fun way to kind of get into this and kind of start imagining all of the possibilities that are available to you are to literally brainstorm ways that things could change for you. Like it does not have to make sense. It doesn't have to be something you can do, that you can see the whole path, that you know how to get there, that you know how to accomplish it. But just any crazy ideas that you have about like what is possible for you, what is available to you, how could this problem that you're having be fixed? Just brainstorm anything that pops into your head. Oh, I could win the lottery. A long lost relative could leave me a whole bunch of money, just like all of the crazy stuff. And that really, what it does is it just expands your thinking, right? It's expanding what you think is possible for yourself. And again, it doesn't have to be practical things that that you can accomplish, right? Just any idea that pops up. And it's just a way to get yourself out of that circle, and think about all the possibilities that are available to you, because they are infinite. And, we talked about that sphere. And if you're each point in this sphere, which is basically, a gajillion, represents a perspective or a way of doing things or a way of seeing things in the world. And you can only see like your tiny little piece of that, right? But all of this is still available to you. Just because you can't conceive of it because you haven't had those experiences yet, or you haven't, your brain hasn't been able to like wrap itself around all of the possibilities, they're still there. And if you can draw in that kind of supportive, helpful, creative energy from the universe, you can solve your problems in ways that you couldn't even imagine, because the universe can bring you those miracles and bring you those crazy, things that you never would have even thought of without you having to figure it out yourself. And I think that's an important point, is that your brain is limiting you to what it thinks it can do, right? To what it can see and what it thinks you're capable of. But if you allow all of that potential from the universe and all of that positive, supportive energy to come into your life, just by opening your mind, right? Just by being available to that, right? Then all of those miracles and all of those perspectives and all of those wonderful, surprising solutions become available to you, even if your brain has no idea what's going on, right? Even if your brain cannot conceive of them, or you've never thought of them, or it's, never occurred to you. So I hope that's helpful for you today. Remember to just be expansive. Get yourself out of that little circle. Don't be the ant in the circle. Everything's available to you. You can go anywhere, you can do anything, but you are limited only by the way you perceive yourself and the way you perceive your world and the ideas that you have about what kind of person you are. And break out of that and let all of these possibilities for how to live the life you want and fix all of your problems become available to you. Hope that's helpful. I'll see you tomorrow with the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment if you have a second. I would really appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.